Today we are going to discuss apostrophe in lesson number 10 of this series, and we are actually discussing different punctuation marks of the punctuation system in English language. So today we are going to talk about apostrophe. This is how it is represented. The apostrophe has two basic uses. Number one is omission, and number two is possession. That's it, nothing else. Okay. So I will try to explain why people get confused and what is something which most students do which is absolutely wrong, and that is they make plurals using apostrophe, which is absolutely not the case. So you remember one thing, an apostrophe is never ever used to make plurals. Okay. So omission is when you leave out a couple of letters or a letter, and possession is when you show belonging to somebody. So I will explain this with examples. So first of all, let us discuss omission. So for example, I am becomes he is become his, and they are becomes their. So I mean, I just wrote here that there and they are, which is there, they pronounce the same. So this there, and this there, they're all the same homophones. So that's why they are sometimes confusing. It's a different topic. Obviously, I will address this in a different video, but make sure that you understand the difference. I'll becomes or I shall becomes I'll. We will not becomes won't. Shall not is shan't, which is a very rare use. Would not becomes wouldn't. Cannot becomes can't, and so on. Here he had becomes he'd, and he would becomes he'd. Okay. Now, I mean, there is a big list of contractions. These are all known as contractions as well, and what's common in them is that in each of these contractions either one, two, or sometimes three letters are omitted, means left out, means not written, and that is represented by an apostrophe. This apostrophe simply tells you, okay, some of the letters have been left out, or some of the letters are omitted, or some of the letters are missing here. So be careful. This is what it tells. My question to you is that how do you tell the difference between uh, um, I mean he had and he would when the contraction he'd use? For example, if I say he'd better go to school, or something like that, he'd come to the lesson today. So how do you know that this is he had or this is he would? Okay, so that's your question. That's a question for you. I would ask you to write your answers in the comment section and see who comes up with the right answer next. Okay. um, in fiction or casual writing, it is sometimes used to show omission of a letter or letters in the beginning or at the end of a word to indicate non-standard or casual pronunciation. Okay, for example, going for going, cause for because, and tis a tale. I mean, this is from Shakespeare. Tis is for it is. Okay, but these are non-standard expressions, especially used in spoken language, but not in written language when you're writing standard English. But at the same time, you might have noticed that these are the cases of omission. Okay, so still we are discussing omission. Next, it is used for omission or contraction of year numbers, especially in figures. For example, 1984 becomes an apostrophe and 84. So obviously the apostrophe means that 19 has been omitted. Okay, so for example, first time you say 1984, and next time you say that it was in 84, apostrophe in 84, which means that we are talking about 1984. Okay, the next feature that an apostrophe has is possession, or the next thing that it represents is possession. It is used to indicate possession or belonging of singular or plural nouns. For example, a girl's scarf, which is a girl, then an apostrophe, then an s, scarf, which means one girl. If it is girls and apostrophe scarves, then it would be many girls. Now let me choose the pencil to dig deep down. Okay, now look at this word, girl, an apostrophe, then s. It means one girl. If it is girls, then an apostrophe, and then you see no s at the end. Girls, so that means many girls. So this is for what's the formula? For example, word, look at this first case. So a girl scarf is number A. Word without an s at the end, for example, girl plus an apostrophe plus an s. Now if you have, let's say I just write here one, if I could with my mouse, B-O-Y. Okay, now this is a word. Now look at the formula, without an s. This is a word without an s. So if you have to show possession, how do you do that? Plus an apostrophe. So first add an apostrophe and then an s, then an s. Boys, that becomes singular. Now if it is plural, so for example, boys. Okay, so what you do is just add an apostrophe at the end, as we have done in this case. Okay, this is singular, this is plural, so we don't have to add another s here, so that's wrong. Okay, so that's how you do it. Now there are some words which are irregular plural, which do not end in s. For example, we have girls, boys, teachers, students, doctors, engineers. So these are all plurals which have s at the end. But sometimes we don't have we don't have an s at the end of a plural word. For example, children. Now children is a plural word, but we don't have an s, so we would treat this as a singular, and we will deal it as we have done in a, in case A, in this one. For example, look at this one, children's toys, not children's toys. So we have to write the actual word first, then we have to write the apostrophe, then we have to write an s at the end. Okay, so we don't have an s, so that's why we are treating children as a singular word, but it is a plural. Okay, because there is no such word as children's. Now if you write children's, that means that the actual word is children's, which is wrong. I hope you understand. So very simple. If it is a word without an s, then put an apostrophe and an s. Okay, if it is a word with an s at the end, then just put an apostrophe. That's it. Next, it is used with proper nouns to indicate possession or belonging. For example, Tom's cat. Okay, so here Tom's cat, the cat that belongs to Tom. It is used with proper nouns ending in an s or s sound. Now be careful about words that have singulars and plurals. For example, girls and boys, and nouns which has an s at the end. For example, Keats, but this is not a plural. Obviously this is just a name of a person. So how do we do that? So Keats become Keats. So first you write Keats, the full word, then apostrophe or an s, or in some conventions it is Keats. Okay, so Keats, then an apostrophe. In both cases it is pronounced as Keats's. For example, Keats's poetry is wonderful. Keats's poetry is wonderful. Okay, because proper nouns cannot be made plural, therefore an s at the end of the name, as in Keats above, does not make it plural. So this s is not to make Keats plural, it is a part of his name. Okay, therefore an apostrophe will go after the last s. Okay, so because this is an s which is the part of Keats's name, so that's why we will treat this as a plural with an s. Okay, so what we do is we just write an apostrophe, and then in some conventions we have to write an s at the end. So make sure that you follow the conventions that your institution follows. Okay, so but I tell you, both of these are correct, and this is only for proper nouns, names of people. It's not this rule does not apply to the words that have singular and plural using s or es. I hope you understand that. The apostrophe is used sometimes in words that lack institutionalized spellings. For example, be careful, excuse me, be careful, there are two I's in my name. Now here, it's very interesting to understand. You have to use an apostrophe and s to make it plural. Yeah, but this is a very rare example. This is an exceptional case, because if an apostrophe is not used after I, then it becomes is, yeah, which this sentence does not intend to convey. So for example, I mean, I mentioned that apostrophe is never used to make any word plural, but here we have used it. Be careful, there are two I's in my name. You want to say that there are one or two I's, like that, or if you have, let's say, two E's. I mean, I's is it's not possible, but you have two E's in some names. So if you say there are two E's in my name, so you have to put an apostrophe and here. Okay, so you don't have to use both of them. But if you say there are two I's in my name, and you say it without an without an apostrophe, then it becomes is. For example, you would be saying something like that: be careful, there are two is in my name, which is absolutely not possible. So that's why in order not to make it the word is, we use an apostrophe and then s. Okay, so this time it is making this I a plural. It is sometimes used when referring to the whole decade. Decade is 10 years. For example, in the 1990s we saw a great development in technology. I just made up a sentence here. I don't know whether 1990s saw the development of technology or no, but in 1990s an apostrophe and s, it means the whole decade, from 1990 to 1999, to the whole 10 years. However, the frequent use is 1990s. Even this one is not preferred when you write an academic piece. Okay, so this one is absolutely fine. It does not make any confusion as this word does. So this is a confusing case, so that's why we use an I, but this is not a confusing case, so that's why it's just an S, which is okay. But if you use this one, it's okay too. So that was it. Thank you very much for watching it, and I hope you like it. If you have any questions, ask me. If you want to share anything with me, that's fine too. I wish you all the best. See you in the next video. Bye.